Welcome back to Movieville. Before we get started, I would appreciate it if you would take a moment out of your day to subscribe to my channel, and please don't forget to like the video and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. It really helps me out. I appreciate you. Here we meet husband and wife, Will and Sam. They are finding out the gender of their baby. They are so excited to hear that they are having a boy. Will is nervous because tonight he's asking Sam's father, Tom, for Sam's hand in marriage. She tells him it's going to be okay and to not be nervous. They want to get married before they break the news to him that she is pregnant. Will leaves for the airport. He works for a law firm and has a meeting in the same city where Sam's parents live. He goes to Sam's parents' home for dinner. Her mom, Paula, seems sweet, but her father doesn't come across as the friendliest guy. Conversations get a little heated over dinner because Tom says his daughter told him that she and Will are thinking about buying a house together. Tom says he thinks it's a bad idea because he wants to pay for the deposit on their new home, but does not want to lose the money if they eventually break up. Will is confused because they never asked him for any money. Will tells him that he makes a lot of money at work, so he doesn't need money from anyone. Paula tells him that they give all of their kids money when they buy their first home. Will is insulted that Tom thinks that if he gives him money, he won't pay him back if they ever broke up. Will talks about how he's going to open his own law practice soon, when the time is right. Tom insults him again, saying it doesn't sound like a good plan. Paula is angry at Tom and tells him to stop. Tom continues to talk about how Will needs a better plan to secure his future with his daughter. Will is getting upset because he has a really good job and has never asked anyone for anything in his life, yet Tom is making him feel like he's not good enough for her. Will and Sam have been together for 6 years, and they are so in love with each other. He would never hurt her. Will then learns that Tom's anger is rooted in Will and Sam moving away from her parents in Chicago to live in Seattle. He asks Will if he moved away to get away from him. Will tells him it was Sam's idea to move, but Tom doesn't believe him. Will is finally sticking up for himself. He laughs and curses at Tom, saying that Sam couldn't breathe living in this city. She couldn't handle her father trying to make every decision for her. He then apologizes for cursing in front of his wife. Paula ends the argument and walks Will out. The next morning, while on a FaceTime call with Sam, she tells him that her mother called her, and she was pissed off that he and her father got into an argument. While talking to Sam, they hear a strange noise. Sam looks scared and says the power just turned off. She tells Sam she's scared, and then her phone cuts off. He keeps trying to call her, but it won't ring. At the airport, all flights are delayed. On the TV, they see breaking news. They are talking about a large seismic event off the Southern California coast. The news anchor looks scared as she tells the viewers that she has just lost contact with the Los Angeles Bureau, and she talks about how all of the western part of the United States seems to have lost power for unknown reasons as of yet. She talks about reports of telecommunication outages, too. Then the power cuts out at the airport. No one at the airport has a phone or internet signal either. People start to panic and rush to get taxis. Will gets a taxi straight to Tom and Paula's apartment. He is trying to call Sam, but it still won't ring. His phone is dying, but he remembers he brought his portable charger and it's fully charged. He arrives at Tom and Paula's house, and despite the argument they just had, they are happy to see that he's okay. Will wants to go back to the airport to wait. But Tom is thinking logically. He says that we have no idea what is going on. But what we do know is that if the power doesn't come back on, things are going to get bad really fast. He packs his backpack full of weapons and tells Will to go with him to Seattle to get Sam and bring her back here. Paula will stay with her brother in his house, waiting for them. It's an insanely long drive. It will take them a few days to get there. Will is shocked that he wants to do the journey. Tom says he's not leaving his only daughter alone while things start to get worse. They get on the road. They are worried that the cell service and GPS are still out. They stop at the gas station to get food and fill up a few gas cans. Obviously, only cash is acceptable now because there is no power, but Tom is prepared. He brought a lot of cash. A prostitute approaches him and asks him if he wants to show her the back seat of his car. He says no thanks. She gets loud and lies, telling two men close by that Will called her a slut. He definitely did not call her that. It's clear they are together, and it's a trap so they can rob him. Tom comes out just as they were going to smash the windows of his car. Tom warns them not to do it, as it's his car. They tell Tom to give them his money. He lies and says it's in his luggage and goes to get it. He takes out a gun, and the losers run off. They get on the road again. They talk about how if something happens to their car, it's game over. They have to protect the car no matter what on their journey. They get to a roadblock. Tom tells him that he was in the Marine Corps his whole life, and he respects his job. He tells him his daughter is on the other side of their roadblock and pleads with him to let them through. He sympathizes with him and lets them through. They see army tanks and fighter jets flying west too, so they know something serious is happening in the direction they are heading. They get pulled over by a cop, but they quickly realize it's not a police officer. It's a bad guy who stole a police car. He shoots at Will but misses. Tom drives backwards trying to hit the guy, but he misses too. They manage to speed off, but the shooter catches up to them. Tom tells Will to get a gun from his backpack and shoot at him. He's struggling because he has never fired a gun before and couldn't take the safety off. He eventually figures it out and shoots back at him. They manage to lose him again, but crash the car by swerving when trying not to hit deers who were in the middle of the road. The shooter finds them and almost unalives them, but they manage to knock him out. Their car won't start, so they take the cop car while towing Tom's car behind them. Tom thinks his ribs are broken, but they continue on driving to find a garage to fix his car. They are in the middle of nowhere. They eventually find a tiny shop and garage. They have a battery-powered radio at the garage, and we hear the guys on the radio talk about how they think World War III has started or maybe a nuke attack. And they say that there are 2,000 satellites in space, and how did all of them just cut out? They think the government is hiding something. They then see thousands of birds acting strange in the sky. They are just flying back and forth. Tom cleans himself up in the bathroom and sees that his ribs are definitely broken. He's in a lot of pain. They talk to the mechanic, Ricky, for a while. She said the car won't last, it's going to keep breaking down. They know they are not going to get lucky again and run into an open mechanic shop. She wants to get out of that dead town, so they make her a deal if she goes with them with a box of tools and fixes the car along the way. She can get a lift to California. That's where she really wants to go. They will keep her safe along the way. They will pay her too. She said she'd do it for $2,000. They agreed. She packs her things, and they all leave. While driving, a car coming towards them, driving fast and driving on their side of the road, crashes into the side of their car. The other car flips. All passengers are unalived. They are all sad and shaken up by this. While stopping to fill up the car, they notice the clouds look strange. They've never seen clouds like that before. It starts raining and lightning really badly, like crazy bad. They can't see a thing. They park under a bridge and wait for it to pass. We see that 3 days have passed now. They drive right past a local radio tower. They hear a man saying that he will keep talking until his generator runs out, but he too knows nothing. He's just being a comforting voice for the local people who want to listen. They are once again in the middle of nowhere. Will suggests that they drive a little off their plan to his friend's house close by to stack up on food and to let her work on the car a little. The town she lives in is blocked off by its townspeople. They are only letting locals and friends in and out. They weren't going to let them in, but they agreed to take them to the friend's house, and if they weren't there, they would have to leave the town immediately. His friend is happy to see him. She's there alone and she's scared. Her husband was on a business trip in San Francisco when everything shut down, so she has no idea if he's okay. They talk about how in just 3 days they've had earthquakes, insane storms, and now intense heat, all in the past 3 days, and yet they've no update on what is happening or why it's happening. They get back on the road. On their drive, they see a military plane that has crashed and worry that it may have been shot down. They drive past a slide park and see lots of cars with no people around, so they check to see if they have any gas they can take with them. Ricky decides to jump in the pool but is shocked at how hot it is. It makes them all laugh for a moment. They are looking for supplies. They empty the vending machine and get 2 gas cans full of gas, so now they are good for a little while. They get a signal for a moment, and Tom gets a voicemail from 3 days prior on the day the power cut out. It's Sam. She's telling her father that she loves him, and she says to tell Will, but right before she finishes what she was saying, her phone cuts out. They drive towards a town and they see lots of people walking away from the town. They see that the whole town is on fire. It's really bad. They don't know if they will make it through, but they have to keep driving. They are attacked in the town by guys who want their gas. They take their full gas cans, but they chase after them because they are screwed without those gas cans. They will never make it out of the fire if they don't get them back. After a speed chase, they crash into the other car and it flips. They try to help the men who left them for dead, but the car blows up. They only manage to grab 1 gas can. It is better than nothing. Ricky is freaking out because they have at least another 1,000 miles to Seattle, and she knows they will probably have to kill again if someone else tries to take their gas or car. They all fall asleep. 4 days have passed now. They wake up to Ricky nowhere in sight. She left them. Tom is now coughing up blood. He does not look very good at all. They see a derailed train that was carrying military vehicles. So Will goes up to check for gas and food. He finds some gas. We see Tom can barely breathe. He said his lungs are collapsing and he needs help to let the pressure out. He grabs a pen, takes out the ink cartridge, and asks Will to stab him in the chest. It works, and Tom can breathe again, but he's not looking too good. They are driving through the mountains. They have a heart-to-heart conversation. Will starts to understand why Tom is the way he is. They both had a tough upbringing with shitty fathers. Tom asks Will if he can ask his word on something. He asks him to make a promise that he'll always keep his daughter safe. He promises that he will. They then talk about Sam being pregnant. Tom tells him that he already knew she was pregnant. They both laugh and cry about it. Tom tells Will that he's a good man and that he's going to be the best father to his little son. Will cries at the thought of Sam being alone and in danger. Later, while driving across a bridge, they are stopped by men holding weapons. He speeds away, but 2 men on motorbikes chase after them. After an intense chase and shootout, they escape. Tom was shot, but Will doesn't notice at first. He starts laughing, saying that they made it off the bridge, but he then notices that poor Tom is unalived. He's so sad and in shock, and I'm sure he's scared now because he's alone. He drives for a long time, in complete disbelief that Tom is gone. During the night, the car runs out of gas. He covers Tom up and tells him he's sorry. He then sets the car on fire. Will then sets off on foot. It's day 5 now. He's exhausted from walking all day. He's still in the middle of nowhere. He waves down a passing car. It's a family, a husband, wife, and child. They aren't going to Seattle, but they can give him a lift. A couple of miles at least. The man has no new information about what is happening. All he heard was people saying people should go to Canada because there is something about the air up there. That's all he knows. They drive near his dad's house, so they go inside to sleep. They all haven't slept in days. His father isn't there. The man decides to stay there with his family, and he gives Will his car. It's day 6 now. The sky looks crazy. The clouds look almost in touching distance. He is 30 miles away from Seattle now. It's snowing, Ash. He can't stop coughing. He finds an oxygen mask in an abandoned fire truck. There are abandoned cars everywhere with people unalive inside. There's not a soul in sight. It looks like bombs have been thrown all over the city. Buildings are crumbled to the ground. The whole city is destroyed. He makes it to his destroyed apartment. Sam isn't there. She wrote on the door, saying, "Will come find me," and she leaves an address. He gets his map and goes to find her. He makes it to the address, and he sees Sam is okay. She's at a house with their neighbor, Jeremiah, from their apartment building. He tells her about her father passing away and tells her that he's alive because of him, and that he would have never made it without her father. The sky is all different types of colors now. It looks like the northern lights. He thanks his neighbor for bringing Sam with him. They tell Will that big waves destroyed the city. They were a couple of miles away when they saw the giant waves going towards the city. The neighbor tells them that he's a software engineer and that he has seen so many war game simulations. He's seen this exact scenario too. He thinks all of this was designed. Will doesn't believe that is what's happening. Sam believes the neighbor. Will says, "You expect me to believe that everything I've witnessed out there these past 5 days was designed to happen?" The neighbor said, "Let me tell you in layman's terms. A nuclear bomb goes off. Then a virus takes out the grid before anyone can figure out what is happening." He says he has seen the intel. Will and Jeremiah start to argue, but Sam tells them they are going to bed. They have hanky-panky time, then go to sleep. Will doesn't trust Jeremiah. The next morning he catches him trying to open his car and thinks he was trying to steal it. They apologize to each other about last night. They blame the whiskey for how heated it got. Will says he and Sam are leaving and asks him if he wants to go with them. Jeremiah says he saw 2 kids run off into the woods, so they went to check. He starts saying strange things to Will. He asks Will if he thinks he's crazy. He says that they thought he was unalived for days now. And he says that he and Sam have made a bond in these past few days, so he should get a say if they all leave or not. Jeremiah goes to shoot Will, but Will was ready and shoots him first. He runs to Sam because something is coming. Huge clouds of smoke and fire is approaching fast. It's destroying everything it passes. They drive off as fast as they can as the huge smoke is tailing them. Will says they are going to make it, and then it's over. So, did they survive? I guess it's up to the viewer to decide if they made it out of the volcanic fumes in one piece. I love a good apocalyptic movie, so I would love to see a part 2 of this story. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, take care.